Hi, everyone. This is Anna, one of your consumer technology specialists at Mid-Continent Public Library. Today, we are going to talk about how to choose your own homepage or start page on your web browser. When you install or when you open a web browser, it needs to open to a specific page. This might be its default search engine, like when you open Google Chrome in a new window and it opens to the Google search page, or it could be something completely different. You actually do have the ability to change your browser to open to any internet page that you would like, or you can even set it up to open multiple pages when you launch the app or when you press the home button. The page that opens when you open a new browser window is actually called the startup page. When you click the home button, you are taken to your home page for your web browser. These two pages are not going to be the same unless you set them to be the same. So that is something to keep in mind, that these are actually two different things. We're going to look at both today. And we are going to look at how to set these pages in Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, and Microsoft Edge. We are going to start today with Microsoft Edge. So when I open up Microsoft Edge, the web browser, currently I have the start page set to the library's website, which is mymcpl.org. To change this, I'm going to look in my upper right corner for my More menu, and that is indicated by the three dots that kind of look like an ellipsis, and I'm going to click those to open my menu. In the menu, I'm going to look all the way down, almost all the way to the bottom of the list, and I'm going to find Settings. And I'm going to click the Settings to open, and this actually opens a new tab in my browser. So if I look at the top left here, I can see there are two tabs instead of one that there was before. This tab contains a lot of the settings that I can adjust for the browser. So to change the start page, I'm going to look on my left side menu for the Start, Home, and New tabs, and I'm going to click to open these options. And here I can do a few things. I can set what I want to open when I first open the browser, so the start page, and I can separately choose where I want to go when I click the home button. So when Edge starts, I can choose to have it open in a new tab, or I can tell it I want it to open the tabs and web pages I had been using when I last closed my browser, or I can choose open these pages. See, the library website is listed under this last option. If I want to change this page, I'm going to click on the three dots to the right of that web URL and choose Edit. Now I need to either type in the new URL or copy and paste it from somewhere. I'm actually going to jump back to my library tab real quickly, and in this white top menu, I'm going to choose Events. So let's just say I want this Events page to be what opens when I open my browser. So I'm going to select the URL in my URL bar at the top of my window, and then I'm going to right-click on that and choose Copy. When I go back to my settings tab, I can then click in the text box and press backspace or delete to remove the current URL that's in there. And then I can right click again, and this time I would choose paste. I could also use the keyboard shortcut Control C as in cat to copy and Control V as in Victor to paste. And then I will click Save to confirm the change. Now see, my page's information has changed. I can also click Add a new page, and I'm just going to use a search engine URL. So I'm going to save as a second start page, duckduckgo.com. And now I have 2 pages that should open when I start Microsoft Edge. If we look down to the next section, under the Home button, I do have a toggle where I can set whether or not I want to see the Home button at all. I'm going to go ahead and click to toggle it on. And now I should be able to see the Home button up next to my URL bar. I can leave it at the default, which is to open a new tab, or I can select the circle just below that and I can enter a specific URL. So that is going to set my home page, and that will be what opens when I tap that Home button. And below that is a section to set options for the new tab page. So I can click Customize to set up the new tab page, and I don't want to change anything right now. So I'm just going to click my back button to get back to the settings. And there's also an option to preload the new tab to make it faster. This does use cookies to work. So if you have cookies turned off on your browser or your device, it's probably not going to work with the preload setting. So that's just something to keep in mind. And once I've decided on all of my settings, to make sure I can see them take effect, I'm going to click the X in the upper right corner of my window to close the browser window. And then I'm going to click the Edge icon on my desktop to relaunch it. So now I can see that I do have 2 tabs when I open Edge. The Library Events page is one, and the DuckDuckGo search engine is the other. My Home button, if I click on it now, it's going to take me to that new tab page, which shows the Microsoft logo, and it has a Bing search engine box. And I know it's Bing because Bing is the default search engine for Microsoft. The next browser we're going to look at today is Google Chrome. And when I open Google Chrome, it defaults to the Google search engine page, as I mentioned earlier. The process for changing the start page and home page are very similar to that of Edge. So I am again going to look in the upper right area of my browser window. And on Chrome, the 3 dots are stacked vertically instead of going horizontally. But they're right in that same area, and that's how we reach our More menu. And after I open my menu, I am going to scroll down to click Settings, which is towards the bottom of the menu. And the Settings option looks like they opened in the same tab for Chrome. So we still only have 1 tab showing up at the top. And from here, I'm going to locate the On Startup from my left side menu and then click that to open the options. Very similar to Edge, I do have options to open a new tab, page. I can continue where I left off, which would be opening the pages I was using in my last session. I can also open to a specific page or set of pages, or I can kind of combine the second two options and I can continue where I left off and open a specific set of pages. So I have a few different options. I'm going to make sure open a specific page or set of pages is selected, and then I'll click add a new page just below the list here. I'm going to set my start page as the library's website. So I'm just going to type the URL in, and then I'll click add. And if I wanted to add a second page to open on start as well, I can click add a new page again. And let's just say I want to see the weather. So I'm going to add the URL for the Weather Channel's website, which is weather.com. And that sets up 2 start pages. So every time I launch my browser, those 2 pages should start up. To change my home page in Google Chrome, I'm going to select Appearance in the left side menu. And then from here, I want to toggle on the option to show the home button. And once I do that, I have the option to open it as a new tab page, or I can enter a specific website address. So I'm again going to just leave it set to a new tab page. And my changes are saved automatically. So if I just close out of my window and then reopen Chrome from my desktop, I can see how these changes have been set. And I can see my 2 tabs at the top. And when I click my home button to the left of the URL bar, it takes me to the Google search page, which is what is set to come up when I open a new tab. And I will mention here quickly, when I clicked the home button, it didn't actually open a new tab. I'm still in my original tab. This might be a little bit confusing, but the page I have set to open as a new tab is the same page that now opens when I click the home button, but it's not actually a new tab. It's the same website that opens in both places. And the last browser we're going to look at today is Mozilla Firefox. So when I open this browser window, it starts on a new tab page. And to change my startup page and home page, I'm going to go to my More menu in the top right corner. Firefox uses 3 lines instead of 3 dots to indicate their More menu. So I'll click on the icon here to open the menu up, and then I'm going to locate Settings, which is towards the bottom of the list, and I will click to select and open it. And this does open in the browser window, and I can start making changes right from this general menu. So under Startup, I can check a box to open previous windows and tabs if that's what I want to happen. And then next, I want to click Home from the options on the left side menu. And here, under New Windows and Tabs, I can choose what I want to see as my start page when I open a new window, or my home page. So it looks like Firefox is treating home pages and startup pages as the same as far as the options go. So what I see when I open the browser is going to be the same thing that I see when I click the home button for Firefox. So that makes it a little less customizable, but a little easier as far as you're going to be getting the same website in either situation. So I am going to click the drop-down menu where it says Firefox Home and then it says Default, and I'm going to change it to Custom URLs, and I will use the library website again. So I'm going to type it in the text box. And for new tabs, I can choose between using the Firefox homepage, which is the default, or I have the option to open it to a blank page. I'll set it to blank page so we can see what that looks like. And just like the other browsers, my changes are saving automatically, but I will want to close my window and then open up a new instance of the browser just to make sure that those changes took effect. So when I open my new Firefox window, I can see that it does open to the library's website. And then if I click the plus sign to open a new tab, I get the new tab, but no web page loads. So this is truly a blank tab, and it's just ready for me to enter a URL or some kind of search terms and get my internet browsing going. So as you can see, each web browser has similar options for customizing your homepage and startup pages, even though they're all unique. So it's really up to you to decide which one is going to work best for you. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure you let us know by following our MCPL 360 page on Facebook and our MCPL MO channel on YouTube. We premiere new videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. And if you missed the live event, you can always find all of our videos on YouTube on one of our many technology-related playlists on our YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you again next time.